Hi everyone. I'm Penny, and I'm here with the lovely Mary Jane, who's also a matrix reimprinting practitioner and an EFT trainer. Um, and I invited people to volunteer to work with their fetus. So that's the little embryo in the womb. And Mary Jane, can you just expand on the reason why you volunteered?
Because when I was in utero, I know that there was a lot of stress going on between my parents and particularly, obviously, my mom. And I just have a sense and a feeling, just an intuition that I was picking up on a lot of that and that some of it has very much been playing out in my life.
Yeah. And so one of the questions that I always ask, and I didn't ask you before we hopped on this recording, is do you love your mum?
Yes.
Okay. And I think this is really important that when we're working with the embryos in the womb, that we sometimes have to look at our relationship now and clear some of it, not all of it, but a lot of it before we go back into the womb. Because sometimes it's the current events that are bringing things up. And mums and dads and siblings are gifts. And you're laughing, Mary Jane, because you know exactly what I mean by gift.
Yes, I do.
That gift that there's a lot of learning in there.
It just keeps on giving.
Yeah. And giving. And so just tuning into that feeling of stress in the womb, or a feeling of stress that you may have picked up. If you were to imagine that feeling of stress, what intensity is that?
Being 8 or 9.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And is that your intensity now, or do you think that's the embryos?
Feels like the embryo. Yeah.
Okay. And if you were to imagine that embryo, how old would it roughly be in the womb?
About 6 months.
Okay. And so that's the second trimester, roughly. So normally I would,
it's 6 months will be end of second, beginning of third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I ask my clients, is it first, second, or third trimester? And it doesn't really matter if you don't really know or not aware of the length of birth, but clients normally really feel that like you did just now.
Yeah, it feels like it gets more intense, especially as it gets into the third one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that image of that little one in the second trimester, before we actually even go into the room, do you need to put yourself in a bubble or surround yourself with a positive energy, sound, scent, or color?
I think turquoise around me.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And also, Mary Jane, I'd like you to remember that you and that little one are one and the same energy, so you can communicate freely and easily. Okay. And I wasn't expecting us to dive straight in there, so whenever you're ready, would you like to step into the womb surrounded by turquoise? And not into the baby, merely into the womb. Stay disassociated. And when you're in the womb, do you get a sense of that little one, or do you actually see?
Oh, I can see her.
Yeah. And if you were to know, does she recognize you?
Not quite at the moment.
Okay. So take your time and introduce yourself to her, making sure that she knows that you and her are one and the same energy. And that you're her from the future. And she's safe now. You're with her. She survived.
Oh yeah, she feels like there's a partnership now. Yeah.
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 Take her little hand, if that's possible,
Mm-hmm.
and tap on her hand. Or if it's more appropriate, down her spine, on either side of her spine.
Mm-hmm.
Is she okay with that?
Yeah. Yeah, she's smiling.
Okay.
You can actually see her relaxing.
Lovely.
Mm.
How's she feeling?
Actually, the stress she's feeling is palpable. That's why it's so recognizable to see her starting to relax, knowing that I'm there.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do we need to do some heart math with her?
That probably would help her, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to invite you to put your hand on your heart as well. We tap on the triple warmer, the 9 gamut. Breathing in slowly to the count of 6. And exhaling to the count of 6. And take your time and let me know when she's counting down even more.
Yeah, it's helping her heart rate a lot.
And what else does she need to do inside the womb to make herself feel safe? She's got all the power. She's got this super consciousness, this innate intelligence.
So even though she's obviously connected to her mother, excuse me, by the umbilical cord, she feels like she needs some kind of shield around her, just to stop taking on all of this, everything that she's feeling, all of these thoughts that she's feeling from her mum.
So invite her to bring in that shield.
Mm-hmm.
And this is only a suggestion because she's attached to her mother by the umbilical cord. She might not want this, but does she want a little filter on that umbilical cord?
Yes, actually, that I was just thinking to myself, how else can we stop anything else coming down via the parts that she's connected? So that would be a great idea. Yeah.
Okay. And before she put the filter on the umbilical cord, before she surrounded herself in armor, whose stress was she picking up the most? Was it mum or dad's?
Mums.
Okay.
Mm.
And how does she feel if we went and helped mum de-stress a little bit?
She actually wants someone else to do that.
Yeah. Okay. So in order for us to even watch that, we're going to have to step out the room, tell her you'll be back, and make sure that she feels safe. Tell her we'll be back in a few moments. And then step outside the room and imagine seeing mum.
Yeah.
What does mum? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And who does mum need to be tapped on by? And I love the fact that you said it wasn't you, that you didn't want to do that time.
Yeah, the baby was very much, no, I don't want to do that.
Good. Because it's not her responsibility.
No, and there is some irritation in there that that she is responsible and she doesn't like it.
Okay. Well, we'll come back to that in a minute.
Mm.
But who does mum need to be tapped on by? Who would she like to be?
Mm.
And you now, as an adult, do you want to speak to your mum then, or would you like to observe and imagine this?
I think observe and imagine.
Yeah.
Mm. So it needs to be her paternal grandmother, who she doesn't actually know at this point in time in her life.
Okay.
But it needs to be her.
Yeah. So as you're observing, bring in that paternal grandmother and invite that grandmother to tap on your mum. And if you were to know and observe grandmother tapping on mum and releasing her stress, what's happening for you, Mary Jane? What just came up for you there?
I was just like, thank God someone else is there.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. This is definitely the right person for my mother.
Yeah.
Mm.
And do you need to actually know what she's stressed about? She's 6 months pregnant?
Yeah, I mean, I know, as an adult, I know. She's 6 months pregnant. She's got a 2-year-old. Her husband has moved away for work. So she's left with packing up the house, putting the house on the market, managing a pregnancy, and managing a 2-year-old on her own in a community that she doesn't have any support. Yeah.
And if you were to know what other support does this mother need to bring in?
Maybe her own mum, actually.
Yeah. So bring in her own mother.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
What else does she need, darling? I feel there's something missing there for her.
Her dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, she needs to hear some stuff from her dad.
Yeah.
Mm.
Invite her dad to come in and say the words and feel that. Feel the words, not you, heart.
Yeah, she's she's feeling some relief that she's not on her own.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, she was really struggling on her own, being very isolated, trying to do all these things.
Yeah. And if you were to know, what does she need to communicate with the baby in a positive way?
We're going to be okay. We're okay now. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's her energy looking like to you now?
She's seeming more relaxed. There's still a little bit of this sense of there's so much to do, and kind of a little bit jittery. Almost like her parents and her grandmother can't intuit what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Mm.
So what would she like, if you were to know, to do with all these things that needs to be done? Does she need to see in the future that she actually gets everything done?
What would I think? She needs to see that she doesn't have to do it all on her own.
Yeah. I'm just curious, as you're observing her, and let all of that play out while I'm just going to chat to you. Is that okay?
Hmm?
Is this a pattern of yours, darling, that you do things on your own?
Yeah. Don't let anybody in.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same as my mother at the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And how's that serving you now?
It's not really.
Okay. Do you think it's appropriate what would you like to do about that?
I'd like to cut that fucker up. It's my language. It's been a pain in the backside for my 46 years of life.
Okay. And do we need to tap on that before you step back in the room, or are you just ready to go for it?
I'm ready to go for it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And knowing that your mom has got all that support, she knows it's going to be okay. And she's got her dad, her mom, and her paternal grandmother there. Let's step back into the room to check in on that little baby. And how is she looking now?
Yeah, she's actually way more relaxed. Yeah, her face was quite screwed up before. Not that babies' faces aren't screwed up. But yeah, you can see that there's a more peace on her face. Mm.
And what does she need to hear from mum?
She doesn't feel like she wants to hear it from her mother.
Good.
She feels like she wants to hear it from the grandmother that's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's yeah, there's very much I'm not interested in what you're saying right now. You've got stuff going on. I'd rather hear it from someone else. Yeah.
And this is, I think, important that she does hear, because babies can hear from 21 days in the womb.
Mm.
So what are the words or the sounds that she needs to hear from grandmother?
I'm not getting words. I'm getting it's almost like a resonance. It's like a tone.
Beautiful.
that's just a lot more calming for her as she's in there. Yeah, it's just like that, almost like that that primal tone, that, what is it, om?
Yes.
That kind of tone that's coming through for her that she really needs to hear, and it's really helping her.
Okay.
Mm.
This really helps the vagus nervous system, autonomic nervous system, to calm down, that humming, that om. And do you need to om, darling, or is she happy with that?
No, she's happy with that, because it's because there's like a vibration there as well
Yeah.
as the sound. It's like a vibration that she can feel, sort of kinesthetically as well as auditory.
Beautiful.
And it's really soothing for her.
And take your time.
Yeah, you can see in her energy, it's almost like she's more relaxed in the womb now, whereas it was quite intense before, like quite everything in her little body seemed really tensed up.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that babies are quite like that anyway, but it's almost like in the space that she's got, she's just able to sort of relax a little bit more.
Beautiful.
If she could lie back, that's what she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Invite her to. She's got all that space in the world now. Which is interesting from our conversation before we got on the recording.
Yeah.
Which was, Mary Jane?
Just wanting to get out of where I am at the moment.
And creating that space.
Creating that space, yeah. Yeah, it was almost like before she was really, really and truly inhibiting that fetal position to shield herself.
Yeah.
Whereas now she's a lot more open. Yeah.
Okay. And what was she like to really feel and hear and do that she couldn't do in the room? Is she happy now to have merely created that space?
Yeah. Yeah. There's something she needs to know, and I'm just trying to get from her what that is. Yeah, she's asking, what about when I'm born?
Okay. And what about when she's born? What does she just simply need to know? That basics that she has.
Yeah, so the grandmother has stepped in again.
Beautiful.
And the grandmother's just talking to her about what's possible for her,
Yeah.
the what's going on around her both now and once she's born is not her stuff. That she has the choice to let in only what she wants to. And that this shield that she's created around her just now can remain with her as long as she needs it. Mm. Yeah, she feels better now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
On a scale of +1 to +10, where is she? +10, feeling safe and having that space.
She's saying 7.
Okay. And just to tweak that 7,
Mm-hmm.
or in fact, I'm going to do it slightly differently than I normally would, Mary Jane.
Mm-hmm.
Can you ask her what she felt? What did she say? What did her consciousness say to herself in the womb that before she created the space, before she realized she had a choice?
Um, this is going to be hard as I'm doing this on my own.
Yeah. So, what would be the opposite of that? I'm just going to write that down, darling. This is going to be hard.
She's saying everything flows easily. And everyone and everything. Yeah, everyone and everything I need is always there.
And does she need to see snippets of your future life where that has actually happened to you, that people are there for you? Or is that not quite possible, darling? Nice. That's why the reason I said snippets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just letting her know that there actually are some amazing channels of support in her life. Yeah. And that
So,
she has the choice to take them when she wants them.
yeah. How
Yeah.
can we create that support for her in the womb, that energy? Can we just chat about these resources? Go on. No, we don't need to.
No, she's just said, can they come to me on a rainbow?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's random. She's seeing a rainbow like a slide.
Yeah.
Everything just slides in on this colorful rainbow.
Yeah.
Okay.
What motion is coming up for you, darling?
Oh, she's actually just creating it into one of those um, fun slides where it goes like this as it's coming down, and everyone is laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and loving the water and loving that it's all happy and joyful and fun, and that everything is there that she needs as these people are coming down the slide.
Yeah.
And it's all really colorful, like the rainbow. Yeah, so she's flipping. Yeah, she's really happy. Yeah.
Okay. So on a +1 to +10, where is she now?
9.
Okay. And what is their positive message to you now?
She says, she says, let people in. She says, it's time for you to receive.
And how do you feel about that?
Well, it is making me laugh because I've always done everything on my own.
Yeah.
And haven't been a great receiver.
Yeah.
I'm good at giving. Good at helping others.
Yeah, you are that rainbow in the clouds for so many, aren't you?
Yeah. However, yeah, I definitely would shut down the door to receiving. No, I'm fine. I'll just do that myself. I'm good. All good.
And going back to that little one with our positive message of let people in and receive, and this new belief that she can. Everything flows easily, and everyone and everything I need is always there for her.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you've moved your hand away from your heart, but placing it, recentering it again on your heart and really feeling your heart. I'm going to invite you to re-imprint that new belief, that new picture, that everything flows easily, everyone and everything I need is always there, and her positive message to you, let people in and receive, and pull that down into your mind, into your brain. You may feel your neurons and neuropaths start to rewire as you pull it down into your heart. Fill your heart. Feel that. Hear it. See it in your heart. Sense it. And blast it out into the universe and the matrix, making it bigger, brighter, louder, bolder. The matrix will rejoice as it's waiting 40 odd years for you to believe this new belief. And every time your heart beats, the matrix will blast that back to you. And every time your heart beats, that new belief, everything flows easily, everyone and everything I need is always there. You can let people in and receive. Flows through every single cell in your body, into your throat, inviting you to speak your authentic truth. You can taste it, smell it, hear it, and see it. And once that new picture and that new belief has embraced every single cell, then and only then come back into the room.
Everything's very bright.
So, what's the weather like in Ireland at the moment?
Oh, it's a wintry grey day as opposed to a summery grey day.
Is it the 1st of March today, or is it?
Today's the 2nd.
It's the 2nd, okay. I was going to say rabbits to you, but I was a bit late. So, darling, there was well, what were your thoughts about that session? And
it was well overdue for me. This has definitely been something that I've seen playing out my entire life, and the more I've learned with EFT and Matrix, and even with my meta knowledge, I've noticed there's a little bit of a parallel here,
yeah,
with my mother and with my own life, that needs addressing.
Yeah. And so for me, there was a couple of aspects that came up that we had talked about before recording. So out of 100%, how do you feel about that space in your life now?
Yes. Yeah. I feels like about 80%,
Okay.
as in good.
Yeah, okay. And what about that belief, this is going to be hard and I'll do everything on my own? Out of 100%, what is that now?
Oh, probably about 20%, as in that's all that's left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just check back in on that little one.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm going to invite you to put your hand on your heart. And how is that little one now?
If you could have a party in the womb, she's having it.
Okay. Yeah, because the great thing about Matrix is that the womb can be immense.
Yeah.
A womb with a view.
Yeah. She is really happy. Yeah, it's such a contrast to the way she was. I think I said inhibiting and I meant inhabiting at the time, but she was very much like that. And
Yeah.
now she could be on a tropical beach if that was possible in the womb. She's really happy.
And one of the things I realized we didn't address, Mary Jane, is the relationship with your mother now. So how do you feel about that relationship now in this moment?
A lot more relaxed about it, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think there might be more work, maybe, I don't know,
Yeah.
to process this.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And again, I'm going to invite you to put your hand back on your heart and tap there on the triple warmer. What's your positive learning about working with that little baby and seeing that little baby?
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
Anything is possible when we just trust the process. Yeah. That it's okay to let other people in.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. A big thing about trust there, about, it's actually okay to let people in, there are people that are there that you can trust.
And out of 100%, what's your trust now? Or you can't trust, I should say.
I'm going to have to do it the other way. I'm going to have to say that it's 80% that I can, that it's good. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We haven't done a full birth re-imprinting, darling. However, this is only a demonstration. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Is there anything that you want to add to that might be helpful for others?
I think probably the biggest thing that I was doing before we come on the call together was get out of the way, and just allow to flow whatever flows. That it might not seem like it's real. However, just allow whatever's coming in to come in, because I in the past have gotten in the way of that and questioned it, whereas I sort of set this up for myself beforehand. It's just like, just get out of the way, just let this happen, let whatever's going to come through from that little fetus come through. And it's probably the best connection I've ever had with that part of myself, having done some of this kind of work before with myself in utero, and I've never allowed that connection to be what it was just now. Yeah, so just trust, just really allow that. Yeah.
Back to the trust again.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary Jane. And do let us know next week how things are progressing. And I'll switch off the recording. Thank you, darling.